Hello, everybody. This is Elisha Keating from wisdomseekers.net, and we're trying something new out today. We're using Be Live on YouTube. We hope.
Hold on.
Man, we're holding on because my daughter thinks we're not on.
They're not.
So we're not. It says we've got 24, 26, 27, 29.
Well, it's not showing on. Oh, there you are.
So we are now. I guess there's a bit of drag. We are live now. And we're here today with In Depth with Elizabeth. And we are going to talk about something she gets to talk about. I don't, because I don't know anything, which is how to deal with herbs and their properties for, spiritual protection and things like that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to, I will ask questions. Don't worry. I can't keep quiet. Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. Oh, there, we've got people. Hi, Deborah.
Hey, Deborah.
No, we're not asking questions at this point, Deborah. We will be answering them later. What we are doing is we're going to talk about spiritual properties of herbs and what we have in their kitchen.
Yes, what we have in our kitchen.
And this is
I get a lot of questions about that, like people, needing to do a cleanse on their house or needing to have a spiritual cleanse. And oftentimes, the pseudo answer is always sage. We always go for that one. There's a couple of other holy plants that people use, lemongrass.
Lemongrass.
Yes, lemongrass, rosemary, palo santo, cedar are all good. The one question someone asked me is, they can't handle the smoke because they have lung problems. And I thought about that, and it's a really good question. There's never one way to do something. That's Marshall, in case I don't know him.
There's Marshall, the dog.
Yeah, Marshall, my dog. There's never one way to do something. There's always alternate solutions, different pathways to take care of a problem. Unless you're doing math, and then things get weird. But you're not doing. You're working with spiritual forces, spiritual warfare, prayer, whatever area you're working in. Usually this applies to, just cleaning out energy. And many of the common herbs that you have in your kitchen can work just as well as running off and buying something extra. So many of us have rosemary in our kitchen. Rosemary is a very powerful cleansing herb. I actually started practicing with rosemary when I first started working, cleaning and clearing things. The first plant that I worked with was rosemary. And it's very easy to make a rosemary cleansing solution. You don't have to burn it if you're having lung problems. You can take some oil on the stove very low and heat the rosemary in it for a while. And that gives you a good base oil. Then you can mix this into a spray bottle of water and mist your house with it. It also smells wonderful. Bay leaves, basil. Basil and I are sort of friends sometimes. Basil is a good one, especially if you have young kids in school or college students, people who are learning. Basil is a great addition to have into your ambient energy of your home. And you have that in your kitchen. There's no real need to go off and buy, extra when it's right there.
What about using it in a diffuser?
Yes.
Essential oils.
Potpourri, diffuser. You can make the little dried sachet. I had one. But you can make they're really easy to make, little dried sachet bags where you place the herbs inside of them, and you can use them in your house in different places. Really great for rodent control, mint, spider control, mint. So you can take a mixture of like mint and, basil and thyme and mix these, lemon, mix these into little bags. Keep your cabinets fresh and clean and keep all the little pests away. Pests don't like mint. For some reason, they don't like mint. So, that's one of the things that you can do just in your kitchen. You don't have to, I hate to take the mystery out of everything, but a lot of the ingredients that we use are right there in the kitchen. Salt. I know everybody who watches, TV knows about the power of salt. It's practically in every paranormal show and every paranormal movie out there. As one of our heavy hitters, it's in the Bible. As a sacrament. It's a very powerful thing, salt. And the majority of people don't realize it's sitting right there on their table. You don't have to go out and buy special salt. It has the same property. You just take, a teaspoon of salt, mix it in a spray bottle, shake it up, put some water, and you can use that to mist your house, and that will clear the energy out without you having to, go out and buy these special, powerful plants and smoke your house. Which, if you have, young kids with asthma, you have elders with lung problems, you don't necessarily want to be burning incense and sage in your home all the time. So this is a real easy way to just clear and cleanse the negative energy out of your home. Just mist. I usually go from top to bottom, corner to corner, and just along the lines of your house, and you can clear the energy out. And that's one of the more powerful ones, actually. And again, right there in the kitchen, you don't need anything special. Really inexpensive. One of the things I talk about is adding things to your cleansing waters. And if you live in a rainy area, the power of rainwater, the power of moving water is often used. It's a very empowering, forceful cleansing agent. So I will often leave a bucket out on my porch and just catch the rainwater. I'll add to that a little orange or lemon, and then I will mop my floors, which will sweep the negative energy out of a room. Very easy to do. You don't have to be looking for all those rare ingredients. So let's see. I saw somebody say hello to me. Hi, guys.
Champagne C says, "Oh, I was told
rosemary is good to cleanse myself in a bath."
Yes, it is. It really is. It's also powerful. If you have arthritis, you can mix it with a little bit of salt in the bath, a little bit of salt, baking soda, and sea salt with a little bit of rosemary and some juniper.
So if you can't do a bath, but you can do a shower.
Yes.
Can you put those together and just sort of rub it around?
Yes, you can make there's all kinds of fascinating recipes on YouTube and Google, and how to make salt rubs. That's not nice. You are stop going. Sugar rubs and things like that. So when you're in your kitchen, we talk about everyday magic. Everybody assumes that magic is something outside of the world. Spirituality is something outside of the world that you live in. It very much is not. It very much is part of everything that you have around you. The difference is how you look at it. You know, we go into our kitchen and we see, oh crap, I got to cook dinner for the kids. Salt, pepper, you know, throw that in a pot, throw the food at the kids. If they're lucky and they don't get pizza, which mine often did, you know, but in your kitchen, there's just very powerful magic that you can pull out and use for other resources and things. You know, we often talk about, you know, during the flu season and the cold season. Now, these aren't cures, y'all. Don't think I'm giving you cures and medical advice. These are just things that help build your body up. And, you know, we talk about adding garlic to our food because it has the sulfite in it. Adding onions to our food. You know, that's a form of magic. It truly is.
Champagne has another question that's actually quite good.
Okay.
Well, of course it's good. What about anything toxic to animals? And what about black salt? How can that be used? So there's two questions.
Two very good questions.
Yeah, I have one more.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that later.
All right. We as humans have enzymes in our body that allows us to ingest and digest plants that other animals do not have. That's why cats are, you know, 98.9% carnivores. They don't have the enzymes to digest plants. So many plants are toxic to cats. It's very right. There's quite a few that are toxic to dogs. My best advice on that is the same way with a toddler. You know, there are things in your house that are not good for your kids, but you still have them in your house. Treat them the way that you would treat something for a toddler. I don't keep my herbs in my kitchen on the counter. I keep them locked up in a cabinet because you just saw my dog. Yeah.
And he's quite a character, by the way.
He is quite a character, and he will scrounge and he will take herbs off the counter. So I keep those up in a cabinet. So the reality is you do have to treat this the way, if you have animals, that you would treat it as if you had a child. Working with diffusers, you want to really make sure, especially if you have a cat, those are not anywhere they can drink the water. Because an animal who's thirsty will drink water. It doesn't matter if it's bleach water you're mopping your floor with. It doesn't matter if it's the bowl of water on the floor. If they're thirsty, their instinct is to drink that water. So you really want to watch your diffusers and your potpourri pots and your things like that, because, you know, that's just a source of water. They're not really caring about what you put into that water. And you think oil would be different, but dogs love to lick oil. So if you're using essential oils in an oil carrier, you need to be aware of the fact, you know, like I make a simple hair solution for my hair, which is part oil and part lavender. Helps promote cell growth. You know, the dogs, and I use coconut oil. And my dogs love coconut oil. So you really need to be conscious of where you store these things, where you put them, because, you know, my dogs will eat a whole 2 tablespoons of coconut oil without even looking back. And if I leave the jar down anywhere, it doesn't matter if that jar is not poisonous to them. that stuff costs money. And they just ate my money, you know. and they will eat a whole jar of it. So yeah, you need to treat these things just like everything else. Just like if you had a small child in your house, you wouldn't leave a bottle of prescription medicine down where there was a small child. If you're smart, you wouldn't leave household chemicals, where a small child could get access to them. So it's the same thing in your kitchen, especially if you have a dog like Marshall. Be aware they will eat whatever you leave out without thought. Keep that stuff put up. That's my best advice on that. Now, the black salt, again, there's specific things that you would use that for, but it's not needed to normal, clearing and cleansing of energy. You can use any salt for that. If you're fooling around with something that requires black salt, you're probably, I hope you're in your comfort zone in doing something that's in your comfort zone. Other than that, it's not necessary for 90% of the stuff that you'll be working with. I hope that answered that question.
Okay, and then she has another one.
What are good uses spiritually for camphor?
For what?
Camphor.
Camphor. Here, I'll put it up.
Camphor.
And she says tablets.
Oh, tablets. A good question. The only time I've ever used camphor was in lotion and for different things. I'd have to look that one up. And I apologize for not having that information for you. But send me that question and I will research that for you.
And Champagne says, oh my gosh, good thing I asked because I have a cat. Yeah.
And thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
You're so welcome. I'm sorry I couldn't answer the camphor question. That's just not something that I work with every day. So I do apologize for that. I do know if memory serves from way, way back when I worked with my grandparents, like when I was 5, it was good for treating horses.
Joints.
Reason.
Yeah, but joint, isn't it a joint? Something for joints?
Yeah, but I couldn't. It's not something I work with every day, and I do apologize for not being able to answer your question.
Don't worry, she'll go out and research it till she knows more than anybody else on the planet.
Better believe when I get off of here, I'm going to be going, okay, now what am I going to be doing with that? Yeah. I love questions that challenge me. Please challenge me. Even if I don't know the answer, it gives me a place to start looking for other answers.
She says, no worries, thank you. I heard it was a cleanser as well.
I will be looking into that.
That's another question.
Are we talking about like physical cleanser or outside ambient environment cleanser? Because I would like the answer to that question. Now, look, I'll be researching it.
She's coming back.
So, yeah.
Al says there's another question, but I haven't got it.
Yasmin Fox asks, anything to help hair grow faster?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a reason that we use lavender in almost everything. Lavender has about 250 base properties. So, and one of those properties is exceptional at helping with cell growth and cellular regeneration. So what I use a base oil. I use either vitamin E or a vitamin E oil can get very expensive. or a coconut oil, and you want to add a few drops of essential lavender into it. Essential oil lavender. It's not expensive at most places. There are places that sell it pretty high though. So pricey. Into the oil and mix that up. And what you want to do is you want to oil your hair with that before you wash it. Oil your hair and let it sit for about 30 minutes. Then wash your hair. Comb it out gently, if possible. Mine's never possible to comb gently. Mine's like, I don't know, Medusa had nicer hair than I did. But comb it out gently. Wash your hair. And then you want to get just a spray this bottle with some water and a few drops of lavender, and you want to spray it through your hair while it's drying and just let it sit in there. That should help your hair a lot, actually. But you can see mine.
So Elizabeth, your sound is cutting in and out badly. Right, try speaking now.
Okay, do I need to put my...
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay.
And then,
all right.
So Champagne says one more. Sorry about. What about kids with ADHD, hyperactivity? Any herbs that can help? It doesn't. Your questions are great, Champagne. You don't stop.
That's a really good question. There are definitely things you want to avoid.
Like sugar.
Can you still hear me? Because now I'm looking up now. I'm like, should I put my headphones on? Okay.
Might be a good idea.
To put the headphones on? All right.
Yeah.
My big black headphones.
They look good. Okay. So the question was about ADHD with hyperactive kids and herbs. Now we can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can hear you now. Verizon wins.
All right. Love it. All right. All these little technical buttons. See, I don't have Elle here with me. She's unfortunately in Canada. I keep asking her to come help me with this stuff.
And we're working on teleportation, but hasn't got it yet.
When you are cooking for your kids, you definitely want to avoid anything with red dye. That's common knowledge. Anything with high processed sugar. It's also common knowledge. Are your kids going to hate you? Yes, they are. But it's never recommended. Any of the colas. I used to kill my son's grandmother because, he would go visit her and she would give him that Mountain Dew and he would come back charged.
I've heard that Mountain Dew specifically is really bad.
Right. And I wouldn't suggest really ingesting too many added herbs because more than likely your child may be on medication. I'm not sure if they are or not. So you want to be really careful about researching the medications that they are on and make sure that nothing is, interfering with the process.
For instance, I can't eat grapefruit.
Right. And there's
because it interferes. It's along the same pathway as one of my medications.
Exactly. And I can't eat eggs in the morning because there's a medication I take that eggs and milk will knock the medication out completely. So you want to ask that question. It's a very important question to ask your doctor or your pharmacist the next time you go visit.
Pharmacists actually seem to know more than doctors.
They often do. So very important question. So make sure you write that down so that you can ask your pharmacist or your doctor, is there any foods that, my son should not be eating or my daughter should not be eating with this medication that may interfere with the medication for ADHD and hyperactivity? Now, if you're treating this naturally, and some parents opt for that, God bless your heart. You want to Give them access to exercise as much as possible. Part of the problem with ADHD and hyperactivity is the quickness that their brains are working. They're working much faster than, say, you and I process information. So they need an outlet for that. The reason they have trouble focusing is because of this. This is my own personal theory, by the way. When I was in school studying psychology, I did not get my degree, so don't think I'm a psychologist. One of the things I was reading about was how children who are sequestered, say in like communities that don't allow television and don't allow technology, have a longer attention span than children who do watch television and who are in the presence of technology. And part of the reason theorized at that time is because if you watch TV, the information that you are seeing changes almost every 15 to 30 seconds. The scene is changing. So we are literally training our brain to move faster with that information.
And Sesame Street has a 15-minute, they do 15-minute skits.
Yes.
And so the whole generation came up with 15-minute time frame.
Yes. Yeah. So, and kids, I'm afraid, they think faster than we do. And you think about years ago when I was growing up, there were only a few hair products to choose from. Now there's like 50 aisles. I mean, they got whole stores devoted to hair products. Toothpaste, there's not just 3 kinds of toothpaste now. So our brain is having to process faster and make faster decisions. And I think that's why we are seeing more hyperactivity and more ADHD and the more lack of ability to focus. That's just a personal theory. And so I would think to help that, you want to give them access to exercise. And you also want to begin to help them learn to slow that down a little bit. I think coloring mandalas and making mandalas with, you can get those little glass stones at Dollar Tree, and sand art and things like this could, in my opinion, which is, not professional, could help you with a child that has ADHD. And if this child's under treatment, anything you do like that, you want to inform their physician. You want to be, upfront with, hey, my cat just came in the window. You want to be upfront with their physician. Anything that you're doing in their diet and in their programming that may interfere or affect the efficiency of the medicine that they're on. I hope that helped. I don't know if that helped or not.
Well, I think people can use it and find out. Puzzle of Life, she wants to know if there's anything for back pain with herbs. I know I use the what do you want to bring the things I use?
Sure.
Yeah.
Which
Both of them.
Marshall.
It's sage. So what I use is a glucosamine. It takes a month. It takes a month before you feel a difference. You can't stop it once you start it because then it takes another month. I also use MSM. Whoop, that way. Those things plus turmeric. What's the other herb that we just bought for the dog? Botsuela. And I know it's really good for the dogs for pain and things like that. And it's made a huge difference in our pup. the Botswella, and my daughter dislocated her knee. Well, her knee went
I
out.
broke my knee.
She broke her knee basically, and she's been using Botswella for the pain, and I've also used Botswella for my arthritis, and it has been making a difference. What do you have, Elizabeth?
Well, first off, back pain is always tricky. You want to be sure, and I always advise this. Before I give advice, I always advise that you are talking to your doctor, being open and honest with your doctor. If you are experiencing with your back pain any numbness in your extremities, hands, feet, face, hands, feet, face, areas, that feeling like it's almost asleep, you absolutely need to see a specialist. You need to see a doctor.
Yeah, that's nerves. That's fighting off your nerves.
If you're dealing with
Oh, she'll be back on in a few minutes.
This program that we're using is notoriously
it's notorious for
glitchy.
that. Yeah, and I doubt I'm going to buy it again, but I don't have another one at this time.
She's back.
Ah, you're back. So hi. You froze for a bit.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Yeah. But you're right. I mean, but I know I've been diagnosed with arthritis, so I know it's what it is.
Yeah. Ice is your best friend for back pain. As far as herbs, as far as herbs that you can add to your food, turmeric is again a good spice to add to your food. It has anti-inflammatory properties. Cherries, black cherries, specifically black cherries. There's a formula of oil that I use, essential oil, that involves a base oil, lavender, juniper, mint, and rosemary together, and can help with the muscle pain. But again, back pain is very tricky, and don't keep your doctor out of the loop. If you are trying a natural remedy, put your doctor in the loop. Make sure they are well aware of what you're doing. Now, a lot of people will tell you yoga will help your back, and it will tremendously. However, before you ever start the mild stretching exercises, you need to talk with your doctor first. And don't go for the advanced poses, because that's just suicidal. The gentle stretching, breathing techniques. Breathing is more of a pain reliever than people think. So, actually, I just got a book called Keep Calm and Breathe, and it has a lot of deep breathing techniques that surprisingly will help you with backache, anxiety, stress, and things like that. And so I recommend investigating deep breathing techniques and ice. And don't ignore any serious warning signs ever with a back injury.
Yeah, because you could end up in a wheelchair with the nerves get touched. T. Garnett says, yes, thank you. What is the best help for depression besides St. John's wort?
You got to be careful.
Water is one of the better things, though, isn't it?
What is?
Over in Europe, they use water. They use water therapy for a lot of things, and I don't know how they do it because it's not over here in North America. But I do know that they have used, yeah, there is actually one here not too far away from here where they immerse people in cold water. And I have not tried it, and I probably won't try it, but I don't like cold.
Yeah, they would have to.
But
Do
I do know
really
there's other alternative forms.
For depression, you got to be careful using St. John's wort. It's good for only non-clinical mild depression. So,
And up to a month.
right. So keep that in mind. It's not a cure-all. Depression, and then I often ask people to be realistic with yourself. You know, I talked to this young lady, and her best friend had died, and her cat got lost, and she was failing school, and her parents were screaming at her, and she was allegedly clinically depressed. And my question was, are you clinically depressed, or are you like sad because your life sucks? Be realistic with yourself. A lot of times in modern countries, we hide from our emotions. So grief is not depression. Sadness is not depression. So be realistic with yourself. Ask yourself, is there a reason I'm feeling this way? Now, even if there is a reason you're feeling this way, there are things you can do to make yourself feel a lot better, a whole lot better. One of the things that I always recommend is keep your color schematics bright. You have no concept of how much color affects your mood, but it affects your mood a great deal. So by changing the atmosphere in your room, as many depressed people I find have very dark rooms. It's like walking into a cave. They'll use browns and blacks and deep reds. Do you want to change that to like airy colors? Do you want to let light into your environment whenever possible? Smells that can help you are always in the citrus range. Orange is an excellent remedy for helping you uplift your mood. That being said, anytime you have serious thoughts of harming yourself or harming someone else, you need to go get help. Depression is nothing to mess around with. It can get bad really fast. Anything that you are doing, again, you always want to check with your doctor. Let them know, hey, I'm trying this new alternative for therapy. I got a great doctor. He's pretty open about stuff like that. He calls me his pagan client, whatever. Anyway, but you always want to be open. Don't hide things from your doctor. If you are using a drug, I see a lot of references to CBD oil on the mentioning thing. Talk to your doctor about that. Even your recreational drug use, or even your alternative over-the-counter medicines, can affect regular medication. It can affect the regular treatments that your doctor is striving for. So you want to make sure always anything you're doing is not interfering. If you are working with a therapist, I mentioned these techniques to them. Hey, I'm bringing in color into my life. They'll be ecstatic, man. They're going to stand on their heads. So,
and stones too, right?
Stones. I use a lot of
vibrations.
Right. So with this person, I'm wondering if there's a spiritual aspect to this too. So you got to watch that too. So I do recommend cleaning cleaning your environment and doing a cleanse on it. I always recommend
The
that.
rosemary cleanse, right?
Right. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt, and it always helps.
Because I know when I had to deal with somebody in my family having going into depression, once I got in there and cleaned the room, made a huge difference.
It does. It does. And there's resistance. There's always resistance to this idea because we get comfortable in our emotions. You get comfortable. Depression can become a comfortable thing. So any change becomes uncomfortable. Um, you know, there's different types of depression. You're dealing with. Not everybody is under the same type of depression. So when somebody just uses the overall word depression, you need to be really cautious about what you're saying to them because, what are you really dealing with? Are you dealing with a depression that's caused by a stressful life? Are you dealing with a depression that's caused from, a serious chemical imbalance? Are you dealing with a depression that is brought on from grief, being too long in grief, being too long in sorrow, holding on to too many negative emotions? What kind of depression are you dealing with? But basically, color and smells are your weapons.
I find that everybody that is gone into depression also has, and this is just spiritual, has attracted some dark energy around them that can be energetically cleared and will give you a little bit more of an edge to getting out of it.
Yeah.
Because I've done that. I've helped people and I go in there and I look at the energy and it's dark, and it's not theirs because there is energy out there that is attracted to negative depression and it feeds off of it. And so if you can clear this energy out, it does give you an edge. So Yasmin Fox says thank you.
There's a difference between depression and oppression. And I guess we should lightly touch on that really quickly. Oppression is a spiritual battle. It's a spiritual force that's working against you. And as a Christian, I strongly believe in oppressive forces. This is hard to it's hard to distinguish between the other depressions, whether it's depression or oppression sometimes. But in our depression, just like you said, see, I almost said your name wrong. Just like you said, we can attract these spiritual oppressive energies. So, yeah, and they do need to be dealt with because then you're fighting a losing battle unless you deal with them.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So
let's see.
Janet
says much better.
Yeah, just to go back and re-answer that question to make sure they got the answer clearly, I would start with changing your color schematics in your bedroom, in the rooms you stay in a lot, and I would add citrus smells to my life to help. Okay. I just want to make sure.
Puzzle of Light says, oh, wow. And Champagne says, yes, I just like giving, I guess her son meds for ADHD. And Yasmin Fox says, I have some bold marks on my head. It's the consequence of scratching. The hair doesn't grow there anymore, but my hair grows fast. And the Puzzle of Light says, that's true. So,
is scratching, Have you seen what do they call them? Dermatologist? Like sometimes that can become like a habit. Try if you can if you can't afford to see a dermatologist, I would strongly recommend you do. But if not, try just a mild soothing lotion or oil in that area. And then when you get the urge to scratch, try biting on a pin instead, because sometimes that can become a habit.
There was a show that tried the mirror effect.
Mm-hmm.
Look in the mirror and scratch the side of your head that's not itchy, and then wait for a bit to see if your brain, because you've trained your brain that right side, left side is always itchy.
Right.
So if you see yourself scratching it but not feeling itchy or something, it helps rewire your brain to fix that impulse.
It's a good idea. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I had an issue similar to that. I got bit by a mosquito on my foot, and we have them down here. They're evil. And I would scratch it, and then I would scratch it, and I would scratch it. Well, like months after that mosquito bite was gone, I was still scratching that area, and it dawned on me that that wasn't quite right, you know? And so I started putting some soothing oils in that area and just retraining myself not to do it. But again, strongly recommend always, if you can afford it, just to have that checked out. But like the same oil I talked about growing the hair, you can rub that into that spot and it may help. So I hope that helps you.
And Janet Preston says it's with high blood pressure meds you aren't supposed to eat navel oranges as well, huh? Champagne, see, it's interesting. His mind is nonstop, always on the go. That would be her son. And Janet Preston says she only uses natural toothpaste. And that's the thing with the shampoos and stuff like that you put on your head.
Mm-hmm.
You do want to use as much natural as you possibly can.
Well, I'm glad she said that about the natural toothpaste, because going back to the ADHD, you want to make sure they're not using fluoride toothpaste.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can use non-fluoride toothpaste, I always recommend it. Yeah, I know fluoride is supposed to be really good for your teeth. And there's a lot of research supports that. But 9 times out of 10, we actually swallow amounts of our toothpaste, and you're not really technically supposed to swallow fluoride. So, especially with young kids, I just highly recommend non-fluoride toothpaste.
And you want to read the ingredients, because even some of the natural ones are not healthy.
Yeah.
And shampoo, you want to get natural shampoos, because again, all that stuff seeps into your brain.
Yeah. It's always good to go natural. I try to go natural. I don't always do it. I got to be honest with you. I grew up, when I was growing up, the world was changing, but I still have a lot of the old knowledge because I was raised with it. We didn't have doctors, and you didn't go to dentists, and you didn't, that was all strange, and you can't trust those people. I trust them now because, hey, I like Kroger's. I like shopping. I'm going. So I like processed food. I'm not gonna lie. So, but yeah, if you can do it, you should. It is healthier. Were the old ways better? I always get the people who think that the old ways were better. in some ways they were, but in other ways they were not. There's many newer medicines that can save your life now, whereas back then you would die. And that's something you should also think about. Don't just balance everything. You know, yes, go natural, but stay in touch with your modern doctors. You know, I
And
hope
make sure you get one that listens to you.
yes.
Question from his royal doodliness.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
He asks, did you know virtually all citric acid on the market is synthetic?
Yeah.
Yep. And your orange juice isn't really orange.
Yeah, isn't it spliced with like grapefruit or something years ago?
Yeah. Like I said, your orange juice isn't really orange. I have orange trees, and the juice that comes out of them is never really orange. So, you go into the grocery store and they have all this juice, and it's all just this bright orange, yellowish orange. And you're like, not sure about that stuff. So, everything. You don't want things to be difficult. But grocery shopping can be so difficult. It can be so difficult. So,
Lori, so Janet Preston says she uses CBD oil for her pain, and she does talk to her doctor.
Good.
T. Garnett says, yes, I feel I need a sea salt bath and sage. That sounds fun.
What are we
Champagne said, thank you for this informational.
Sea salt and sage. That's really getting rid of your bad day. I could go for that right now too. Bathing is it has many levels to it. I mean, we of course emphasize cleanliness. Nobody wants to be around you when you stink. But there's also some very ritualistic reasons that you bathe. Before you go to church, you should probably cleanse yourself. Before you do any heavy meditations, there's ritualistic workings that a lot of people miss that step. And you don't, I guess I probably shouldn't, I don't know if we're talking about that or not. Can we talk about that or no?
Church?
Well, ritualistic bathing.
I don't, unless you're going to talk about nudes, I think we're fine.
Okay.
We are officially an adult channel.
Oh, okay, good. Ritualistic bathing, we walk through pollution every day, energy-wise. Go to Walmart, go to big box stores, go to
Christmas shopping.
Go Christmas shopping, and you're walking through this energy of other people. You're walking through the ambient energy of your environment. We pick that up. So before you do, I'm not talking about your everyday prayers. I'm not talking about your everyday, I don't know everybody's religion. It doesn't matter. But before you go into that holiness, before you step into it with purpose, it is always advisable to cleanse yourself. Before I do any working, if I'm really praying hard about something, like trying to put a kitten's butt into a trap, long story.
And it's a very pretty kitten.
It's a very pretty kitten. It lived. That is mark on my cheek where I mean, never mind. It's a long story. But I will cleanse myself, not just bathe with soap. I got soap that I bought at the grocery store and stuff like that. But I will also cleanse myself with, either rosemary or sage or salt water bath. I'll rinse my hair, make sure that it's and also get rid of that energy before I go into the idea of the holy. And I don't know if that helps anyone in this video reference, but you're approaching, if you are approaching the divine, you want the negative to be washed away. You want to be taken care of before you approach the divine. And again, there's more than one way you can do that. Of course, there's always more than one way you can do something. But, I know that's really off topic, but, the talk of the sage bath kind of reminded me of that, because that was like, something you would do before you went into like a deep prayer session or a deep.
We were going to talk about herbs and everything, and I think that's part of it.
It's definitely
how to deal with it.
Yes. You use this method too to take care of other things. Don't get me. It's just so much stuff that your kitchen can do for you. It's not as well as cooking food. Your kitchen is a magical place. It's the heart of your life. It's the heart of a home. It's the heart of, if you have a home, if you're lucky enough to have a home, and let's face it, many people are not. But if you are lucky enough to have the home, the kitchen is the heart of the soul of the home. And it's where a lot of magic happens. Kitchen is where everybody goes. It doesn't matter who they are. My bratty son goes in there to grab a Pepsi. Everybody's going to go into the kitchen at least once. It's the heart. It's the place where you can actually find what you need to take care of your spiritual needs as well as your physical needs. I don't know if that helped anybody. I think I just went off on a tangent.
Oh, I think it worked. So Laurie Dotson says her mother's depression was chemical imbalance, and that's a little bit different. And T. Garnet, if you want a psychic or spirit energetic cleanse, message us afterwards.
I sent them through the website.
Okay, Jennifer Schwab says, hello, ladies. Thank you for the great information. I missed your first half while getting our bird Tweety ready for her vet visit. Clearing my daughter's room made her feel better after her loss. Laurie Dotson, Elisha, you helped me when you did a clearing for me when I first met you. Thank you. Yes, I remember. T. Garnet, Eliza, how can I get my daughter already talked to you about that. Yasmin Fox, so I haven't been to a doctor. Yes, a habit because of stress. That would be the scratching. Jennifer Swab, I agree. Lightening up the house with beautiful colors helps. Also, arranging things in the home. My daughter Taylor decided she wanted to paint her bedroom a lighter color so it's more uplifting. And Yasmin Fox says, good idea. We'll try. And
I want to ask one more question. Some herbs for hormonal balancing you recommend or for relaxation?
For relaxation?
Yarba. There's a herb that I was told to use for
hormonal
balancing.
Also green tea that helps. It has extra estrogen.
Yeah.
Is that the female hormone?
Mm-hmm.
In it. So If you like tea, drink green tea.
But there's one that helps balance it out too.
Is that a question? Or was that a
Yeah.
statement? Okay.
It's a question. Do you recommend any natural
NACA.
herbs for balancing hormonal balancing and relaxation?
And NACA, I was told by people who run the health food store that NACA is very good, but it takes 6 months of using it before it starts to take an effect.
Evening primrose. It's a very good one.
My mother uses that religiously, 1,000 milligrams.
I'd also recommend, I'm not sure what the hormonal imbalance is, but if it has to do with the natural cycle, my personal favorite in essential oils is geranium. This is not to ingest. This is to put in a carrier oil and wear like perfume, and it can help you balance. If you're out of cycle, say like me, and you're going into the horrible place. Yes.
It's better on the other side.
I hope so. As the dogs.
No, it is. It's amazingly less stressful.
What I do recommend is balanced nutrition, evening primrose. You want to avoid, if you're taking hormones, you want to avoid hormone enriched foods like milk, dairy. Your doctor probably will talk to you about this.
If they know, if they get three weeks of food.
Yeah. There's a lot of the fake milks. My son calls them fake milks because I'll get some every once in a while that are really high in estrogen. You need to watch those. Now, it always depends on the hormone deficiency or too much hormone. So you want to be in close relations with your doctor before you try anything, especially if you're on a hormone treatment. Don't want to be messing with that because they're working to get you balanced too. So you want to make sure you want to really talk to them. Like, if I'm taking this particular hormone, is there something that can increase it or decrease it naturally that may mess up with this treatment? I always advocate for that. Now, the relaxing part, I can help you with tremendously. You want to avoid spicy food. And I know that sounds strange, but it tends to raise our levels of everything. So, and that has nothing to do with the hormones. It has to do with your emotional state. Lavender, of course, is always everybody's go-to. Because like I said, lavender has 250 properties. There's a reason that it's, a great base oil to mix with everything. So, but not the chemical smell of lavender that's often used in products. You want the real lavender. So look for an essential oil. Honey can help you a great deal. There are natural honey from your area that will benefit you and help you balance. Taking a honey and milk bath will also help you a great deal. I know that sounds strange, but it's true. Trust me on it. Strongly suggest you investigate the type of music that you listen to. Sound can help. Oftentimes we choose the music to match our emotion. What we should be doing is choosing the music to the emotion we want to feel. So if you're feeling dragged down by your hormones, You want to be picking more peppy, happy music. I often listen to children's music because it's always happy. I'm guilty of that. You want to be aware of, things like that, because if you're trying to relax, you're having trouble sleeping because of this. This is also a common problem. Baby lullabies. Don't be afraid to go backwards with your music. Listen to some baby lullabies set on a low setting. The sound of the ocean can often help us relax. Not because the ocean itself is very relaxing, because, it's this big empty space of nothing but water that could probably sweep us away and drown us. It's actually the sound of the pattern of sounds that often reminds us when we were safe. That can help relax you. So I hope that helped somewhat. And again, that's really something that if you are under a physician's care with, you need to be very precautious and make sure that they are understanding every alternative care that you were trying as well.
So Jennifer Swab says she uses toothpaste. We agree we use toothpaste without fluoride. And Janet Preston says green beaver is the best, no fluoride in it.
What was that again?
Green Beaver. It's toothpaste.
Yeah, and I don't know it actually.
I think it. I could be wrong, but it's up at Askew's. I think it's Canadian.
Okay, so it might be just in Canada.
Tom's toothpaste is owned by either Crest or Colgate company.
Yeah, and it's come under fire. Yasmin Fox, I use natural rose water shampoo. It's great. You should put a how to make it in the down maybe.
Yeah.
His Royal Doodliness. Did you know?
I read that one.
Okay, never mind.
He is quite knowledgeable, actually.
He's been on our most of these people have been on our YouTube for a while.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Jeanette Preston says that she never knew about the citric acid. I never buy it. I buy ascorbic acid and add it to things. I hope it's okay.
What do you think, Elizabeth? Ascorbic acid?
Again, something I'm going to have to look up. That's not something I'm familiar with, and I do apologize for not being able to answer that.
His Royal Doodliness says if it's from concentrate, they re-add flavor. I've seen malic acid added to orange juice.
Yeah.
Jeanette says I always buy pure anything. His Royal Doodliness says and most juices on the market is from concentrate unless it specifically markets that it isn't. Haha. There's a reason Martinelli is so damn good.
Is that an American brand?
I don't know. I haven't heard of it, but it might be.
Neither. But then I don't buy juices.
I feel like Martinelli is a actor.
Oh.
I could be wrong.
Okay, I wouldn't know.
I don't know.
Well, that's embarrassing.
Hey, we're all learning here, right?
Lori Dodson.
She says, I want to welcome you here. Thank you for coming. I feel something around me, not sure what it is. Uneasy, but also pleasant and confused, to say the least. We can address
Lori's really sensitive to energy.
Yeah, she's also one of our YouTube moderators.
Yeah.
To help police the chat. And
Champagne did a good job for it too. Thank you,
yes.
Champagne.
Also, Lori, no need to apologize. It's okay. I've been very bad about policing, about reminding people this is a topic about herbal,
natural herbal uses.
Yeah.
Okay. Energy is everywhere.
They're even in money.
Oh, yeah.
Jeanette says, I read ingredients before I buy the juice. His Royal Doodliness adds, the ingredients list is the end all be all. I've seen front labels lie. Haha. Jeanette adds, thank you, I will read more. Erin Lou says, feng shui has the same theory. Kitchen is the heart of the house.
Hey, Erin.
Somebody's at our door. BRB!
That wasn't my dog.
That was a shock. Nobody in their right mind comes to our door because our dogs have such loud barks. Yeah, we should do something about feng shui on here one of these days. If you know anything about it, Aaron, let us know. We'll get you. Lori Dodson, ops, my bad. Oops, my bad. Al just read about the question. Still want to ask a question. I need to clean my kitchen before I go to bed. I can't sleep unless. Oh, that's really cool. I wish I was like that. I'm not.
We did that video not too long ago about quick maintaining of your house and how to keep your house quickly
but that's
clean.
On Wisdom Seekers Facebook page.
Yeah, Wisdom Seekers Facebook. Simple 5-minute cleanup. I don't spend a lot of time cleaning my house. Your time is very valuable, so you should maintain it. Should maintain your kitchen. It is the heart of the house. Healthy kitchen, healthy house.
Lori Dodson says goodbye. Her grandchildren have come to see her, and they have brought puppies.
Oh, gotta go for that. Send pictures.
Yeah. Did you cover the juices?
I haven't.
Did you want me to read?
I haven't read his Royal Doodliness. Ocean Spray just got in trouble
for that, actually, because they lied on their label.
Yeah.
He adds that's a good place to start reading
the labels,
ingredients. Yeah, as well.
Well, that's I don't buy anything unless I read the list of.
Yeah, if you are in America, you need to be watching the label laws as they come up and calling your politicians and saying, "Hey, there's oftentimes, was it California with LA something, LA 44, I think it was about whether or not something should be put on a label. The more information the consumer has, the better they are able to make informed decisions. Unfortunately, that label law did not pass, so that information is not in the label that they were voting on. So if you are concerned in America, you need to be paying attention to and vote, people. It's the easiest thing you can do, vote. And it's hard to be aware of everything, I know, but if food is an area that you are deeply concerned about, you need to be listening for the label laws as they come up in your state as well as in the entire United States. I don't know. I just went down a tangent. I apologize. We'll get back on topic.
So to answer our earlier question, Martinelli is a California company.
Okay.
His Royal Doodliness adds, well, first of all, Jeanette adds that she has selenite lamps and Himalayan salt lamps. They're awesome.
Yeah, me too.
His Royal Doodliness says, be rye of herbs, by the way. Rye of herbs. Wary. There we go. When it comes to the supplement market, it's basically 100% unregulated. Brand is very important. Do a lot of research. Yes. Even with what we are talking about, do your own research and see what works, what fits you better. He adds, for instance, if you buy St. John's wort, you could be getting the seed, stem, or leaf, and potentially none of the beneficial compounds, or no St. John's wort at all even. It's hard to get pharmaceutical grade supplements, unfortunately.
I recommend, and I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but we have a friend who sells Shackley, and I do know from talking to her that it is highly researched before they use it, and they use top grade everything.
Yeah.
And it's not something you can buy in the store. You have to go online and find a representative near yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I do.
the reason you want to be familiar with your local herbs and your local cures is because you can grow them.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's
Yeah.
easy to grow parsley in your kitchen. It's easy to grow green onions in your kitchen. And these have benefits to you as a person. You know, parsley is highly beneficial, especially if you're dealing with, you know, kidney issues, things like that. You want to be adding parsley to your diet, fresh parsley as much as possible. Um, you know, when you start going outside of the common of your area, and a lot of times we do because the world is so big now and we have access to so many things. You know, it's a lot less easier to track sources and things like that. But even locally, you know, we always say fresh is always better. Of course, it always costs more. So, but and there's things that you can grow in your kitchen. A lot of people feel they don't have time for that, but it's quite possible to grow very common herbs that have very beneficial to you and your family with a little research and a small pot on the cabinet.
There's a lot of water-based growth that they in pyramids and things that fit in tiny corners of your house. Which
if you look up 5-minute crafts, they do a lot of like the air
growth,
air plants and ways to have to use your plants as decoration as well as
as food.
As food, yeah, absolutely. Basil, one of my favorites. I had a basil plant, but it got huge. I mean, tree size, it almost felt like. And the whole house smelled like basil. It's very, very interesting plant.
If we have any herbs in the house, they're gone because they're used in the cooking.
Yeah. Yeah, you harvest them very gently, and you can dry them yourself. And sorry, I apologize. There's ways that you can, get fresh herbs. It's on TV stuff. Again, but if you're growing this, again, like I said, I have a cat, so I have to be careful where I grow them, and I have to watch her. You don't want them chewing on any plants. And again, cats don't have enzymes that they need to digest plants. So, sourcing is always important. Researching, that's where I was going with this. Researching your source. Like His Royal Highness had said.
Doodliness.
Doodliness, I'm sorry. I'm horrible with names, but it's source your products is important. Anytime you can use local farmers in your local farmer markets, awesome. Because not only are you're supporting your local economy, but you're actually getting it from the source most of the time. We think that farmers markets are very common, but there are many places that really don't have them. I know a few that don't. We're lucky enough that we have one every Saturday. So, look for these things. Look for these things. Money is often an issue. We talk to people about food all the time and about buying good food. But let's be realistic. You have a budget. I have a budget. So you're still going to have to work within your budget. And dried herbs last longer, keep longer, and don't cost as much money. That's just a sad fact. I just bought 2 boxes of dried cinnamon. You still have
cinnamon is one of the ones you keep away from dogs.
Right. But it's great for lowering blood sugar.
Yeah.
So You know, you still have to work within your budget. Every individual has a different budget. Every individual is at a different economic level. I think that's why I miss the old treaters so much around here, because the doctor costs so much money. There's so many people can't afford it. When, as before, you took care of your treater and the treater took care of the community. You just have to be realistic with yourself. It's great to buy organic. It really is. Anytime you can afford it, it's great to buy organic. Many of us can't afford it. It's expensive. They slap that organic level on it, the price goes up by $2.
If not more.
If not more. But do read your labels.
Certain foods you need to be, it's beneficial. Like, for instance, potatoes. They have so many Roundup and stuff, whatever they put on it, that it goes into the ground and the potatoes soak it up. So you want to buy organic for that. Or apples will have 52 different sprays. So you want to be careful. Certain ones, the watermelons, you should be fine because you don't eat the crust.
And same with coconuts.
Coconuts should be fine
because of the hard shell that surrounds them.
Yeah. But we've been on for almost an hour and a half, Elizabeth.
I always do this to y'all. I'm so sorry. The last thing I guess I would say about reading labels is actually read between products too, because I'm a careful shopper. Don't step on the computer, honey. I'm a careful shopper, and one of the things that I find oftentimes, like I went to get what are they called? Tortillas. The 2 packages are tortillas. One said it was lower carbohydrates, and it had 6 in a pack, and the other had this much in the pack, and was normal. Well, when I read the label, it was the same amount of carbohydrates in each one of them, but this one cost way more than this one, because they had labeled it as healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So reading your labels is important. Don't just accept the fact that it says, oh, this is healthier for you, this is better for you. Read that label, especially on your over-the-counter medications. Your over-the-counter medications, I was looking at tooth medicine. Price, we're talking about dollars in difference in prices, but had the same amount of active ingredient in each one of them. So, and even the ones that were labeled extra strength or maximum strength had the same exact amounts in them as the ones that weren't labeled extra strength or maximum strength. So reading your labels is very important. Honesty between corporations and people buying things is also very important. So again, in America, vote. Talk to people about this as an important matter. Make it up front. Make it part of your political questions when you're questioning candidates. Watch for the label laws that are coming up. Support politicians that vote for label laws. And vote for food laws that, match your dynamics. Don't be inactive. Be proactive. Empower yourself in your shopping. Empower yourself in your kitchen. Empower yourself in, the heart of your home. We're talking about, that's the heart, the hearth magic. It's just, there's so much to it that, there's no way we could have touched on it just in this little video, but I'm glad I got to talk to y'all and answer all your questions. Is there anything else before we go?
We should, His Royal Doodliness actually touched on some of the things you said.
Yes.
He said that the FDA still hasn't really defined what natural means on labels.
So yeah, natural has no legal standing.
No.
That's true.
Class actions can against.
Don't step on the computer.
kitty.
That's
Yeah.
sage.
At least class actions against these companies kind of serve as a de facto regulation and some kind of deterrent or solution to the issue. Janet Preston adds, well, he also adds kitty.
I think you could, I think I think Sage has
I think
got
kitty
a.
has a following.
Awesome.
Jeanette says, I have to be careful too because of a lot of organic stuff isn't what they claim it to be. This is, again, true.
But I noticed the differences with, well, we shop in a local place called Askew.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're pretty decent. But for instance, carrots that are organic are sweeter. Bananas that are organic are sweeter. And it does seem to have a more full-bodied flavor to it when it's actually
It's more
sweeter. It tastes like it did when we were kids.
Yeah, it's more.
When I
there
was
is
kids.
Flavor in the food when it's true organic.
Yeah. You want to hear a really kind of funny story about organic?
Sure.
A lot of the children in our family were raised on farm eggs, yardberry eggs, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, we got evacuated for the hurricane, and the children were still young. They're all adults now, but back in Hurricane Rita, Hurricane Katrina, they were very young. And we got evacuated, and we ended up in Dallas, Texas. And I'm not a big city person, so it was horrifying. I'm not even going to get into it. I could spend an hour. But here we are, this huge family, because it was all the segments of our family smashed together. And we had rented an apartment for everybody because we didn't know how long we were going to be gone. We got eggs from the local supermarket. And our kids thought there was something wrong with the eggs because the yolk was just a light yellow. And they couldn't understand that, there was nothing wrong with the eggs. They were just, eggs, supermarket eggs. So that if you ever want to see, especially with organic eggs, the difference in the egg you're buying, buy the cheapest one, by the ones that are claiming that they're the best, by the egg, the ones that say they're cage free, and by the organic, and crack them all open and look at the yolk.
They're bright yellow.
You will see the difference. Our kids would not eat those eggs.
But they don't have the same flavor, do they?
No.
It's kind of a yucky flavor compared to the organic.
Yes. And they honestly, there's nothing we could do to convince them that there was nothing wrong with those eggs. They thought that, they came from dying chickens and the eggs were poisoned. So those eggs ended up being fed to the dogs.
They weren't wrong.
No, not really wrong, but actually not at all wrong. But, use your eyes when you're shopping. Use your nose when you're shopping,
Also, when getting like milk or milk supplements, byproducts, or anything with ingredients, don't get anything where there's an ingredient you don't know and you can't say out loud.
Yeah, really, that's a good. And carrageenan, don't buy any of the pretend milks with carrageenan in it. It's cancer
or
causing.
Real milk with carrageenan in it. It's an added sugar that is not great for you.
Yeah.
And if you live in my house, you can't buy 1% or 2% either because my son has a meltdown.
But the truth is, you need the fat in your diet. If you don't have fat in your diet, then your brain isn't going to work.
He goes nuts. He goes nuts. See, there's a whole 30-minute rant if he finds 2% or 1% in the refrigerator that we have to listen to. So.
But it's true. I mean, our brain synapses need the fat. So if you cut out too much fat, you're cutting down your IQ.
Yeah, and that's why your healthy fats, your fish oils are really good. Fish oil is awesome for brain health.
And the thing is, fat doesn't make you fat. It's the carbs that make you fat, the sugars.
And I am a carb addict. I love carbs. Potatoes. Oh, I've had
Yeah,
a
I
romantic
have a
affair
hard
with
time
potatoes
giving up.
my whole life.
It's the Irish, you know.
Real
Yes.
quick, Jennifer Schweb asks, is there sugar substitute for sweetness and taste that you can see if you want to lower your blood sugar intake? Go with coconut sugar.
Because it's a sugar, but it has the lowest glycemic level, and white sugar goes up like that. Coconut sugar goes up like that. Honey goes up like that in the glycemic level. Coconut sugar has the lowest rise. So that was the one I would recommend. If you go with the artificial sweeteners, you have to be careful because after like 2 teaspoons or something, then you get diarrhea as a general rule.
And
I read about that because and it worked. It's true.
Stay completely away from aspartame.
Oh, that's an ant killer that
didn't sell.
So they made it into something to sell.
A fake sugar.
And like margarine, it was made to feed turkeys. Turkeys wouldn't eat it, so they sold it to humans.
And also, if you're looking to lower your
3
HC1
weeks
levels,
to get it out of your system.
yeah. If you're looking to lower your HC1 levels and your sugar levels, you don't only want to take away from your diet, you want to add to it. Things to add to your diet or cinnamon, natural cinnamon, will help lower your sugar in your body. Now, we often combine cinnamon, and especially in America, we associate cinnamon with everything sweet. Cinnamon buns, hot chocolate. Yeah. But
you need 1 teaspoon a day, right?
Right. It can also be a very savory herb. You can add it to your roasts, your heavy meats, your heavy vegetables. It carries well with peas, carries well with carrots. So adding it to your diet is not going to be difficult. I have not fully researched it. I am looking into it. But somebody mentioned chromium picolinate to me as a vitamin supplement.
Chromium picolinate?
Yeah, to lower your blood sugar levels. Many people are going to tell you to avoid all carbs like potatoes, corn, and your heavy carb vegetables to a degree. But taking all your carbs away is going to make you sick because you need a certain amount of sugar, natural sugars, not processed sugars. But you do want to lower your intake of, God help me, of potatoes. Like I said, I've had a romantic affair with potatoes so long.
Potatoes are the best, right?
Yes, they are. Corn is another one that you want to lower. Doesn't mean you have to eliminate. You just want to lower the amount that you're taking in and replace it with really good things. I mean, green beans and spinach sounds horrible, but trust me, you cook it right, spinach is delicious. Cabbage.
You can deep fry spinach and it tastes divine.
Oh, it does.
I'm not sure if that's a healthy alternative, but it's divine.
So don't think that to lower sugar levels in your lifestyle that you have to take away everything. You can add to it. Find different ways. Instead of using whole wheat flour bread, try sweet potato rolls.
Actually, his Royal Doodliness was just asking, what about air fried sweet potato fries? Haha, with natural ketchup.
Oh.
So, hey, there you go.
Oh, and one of the things I want to try is banana ketchup. I keep hearing about banana ketchup, and I want to try it so bad.
Send me a recipe, please.
Why don't we just Google one?
I don't know.
So, yeah, don't feel it. If you're going to, everybody goes on these diets where they take everything away from themselves. To be healthy, you don't only take, you add to. When we're planting a garden, you go out to the garden. The first thing you do is you take out the weeds and you take out the stuff from the dirt that's going to stop the flowers from growing. But then you add to it. You add water and fertilizer, and you add the plants and you nourish it. So don't just look at your life at what you're taking away. Begin to search for what you can add to it. You can add a lot to it. I hope that helped. I went way down that road.
On that note as well, allow yourselves your junk food cheat days too.
Occasionally, yeah.
Occasionally. I mean, go as healthy as you possibly can with them, but like try the if you're a chip eater, try non-GMO if you can't get fully organic, certified
Sugar,
non.
Yeah, sugar I'm finding is a drug. It's just like any other drug. It's a serious drug. And getting off of it's very difficult, and you are going to have cravings. You're going to have so many cravings. And it's very difficult to sit there and watch somebody eat a piece of cake in front of you and not want to fuck them.
You can make a quinoa cake that's really delightful.
Yeah, Mom and I went on a tangent about this a couple weeks ago.
Tangent?
Not a tangent, but like we went on a spiel about paleo desserts.
And paleo desserts are the best, absolutely the best desserts. They have more flavor than anything.
It is on one of our lives, on one of our weekly lives. So there's a dessert made out of avocado and
Cocoa,
and it's a brownie. Or
I've heard a lot about cocoa.
Yeah.
Well, cocoa is just that I use it every day. It's just basically ground up coconut, and it has 12% of the iron that you need a day, and you mix it with coconut milk oil, and it makes a really great. You have to keep it in the fridge, obviously, but it makes a really great fudge or candy.
Yeah, it does.
Or pudding for coconut.
Because I mean, honestly, it's difficult to get off sugar.
So one lady, she uses monk fruit.
Yeah, especially if you have a sugar caffeine addiction, which a lot of sodas have in them. You get a high amount of sugar with a high amount of caffeine, and your desire for that will only go up and up and up and never goes down. The most horrible 2 weeks of my family's life was when I was getting off sugar. I literally had people begging me to drink a cola.
Imagine.
It's very, I'm not, look, you talk to people about going on a diet and you talk to them about giving up sugar. You don't realize the physical pain that a person can go through getting off sugar. Just taking it completely out of their life. It is the most horrible headaches and most horrible physical pain. Like I said, my family, God bless them, they lived through it. My family would beg me just to have a cola, just one cola, and you can get sick. You can get really sick, especially if you're diabetic. If you take all your sugar away, you need to be aware that sugar dropping in your body is just as dangerous as having too much. So you don't want to, if you're under a doctor's care, as always, you don't want to be going to extremes. You don't want to go through that, removing everything entirely from your life without supervision. It's dangerous. So, you monitor your blood, you know what you need to do. Do it right. But I did it. And honestly, couldn't stick to it because, like I said, my family was like, drink a cola or we will kill you. So, it's not easy. Don't ever look at somebody and say that they should do something. Maybe they should do it, but don't judge them harshly if they can't. Our body is a very demanding vehicle. And as a very demanding vehicle, it makes it very difficult for people to be healthy. So, don't be too hard on those people around you. We tend to get really judgy about people eating and people food and what other people should be doing. And we get preachy about it too. And you see it all on TV, and it's easy to mock and pick on somebody who's fighting a food addiction or a nicotine addiction or a caffeine addiction or a drug addiction. They're easy targets, but the reality is there's physical demands on the body when you take something away from it that it's used to. So have mercy, I guess is what I'm saying. Have mercy on your family member that's, making you miserable because they've given up sugar. So
Also, there is another healthy alternative to the carbon for sodas or pops. It's living pop. It's a self-fermented. It's like kombucha. It's self-fermented.
But you make it with ginger.
But you make it with ginger, or you can make it with cola root.
And a lot of people, my mother's age, they used to make that, and that was their pop.
Yeah.
And it is really, really good.
It also has the benefit to help with
Probiotics.
digestion, probiotics, and again, it's a living enzyme. So it helps feed the fauna and flora in your stomach. So if you do have stomach issues, that is a nice way to go. Plus you have the benefits of ginger. You have the benefits of the healthy plants choice of drink that you use.
Yeah.
It is really good. We make it. I mean, I haven't made it for 6 months or so, but it's really good.
Yes, His Royal Doodliness says being healthy is a lifelong war of attrition.
Of work.
Yeah.
And he suggests a fruit every day for sweet cravings. And he did say that vitamin D
and fish oil are
high on the list of
supplements.
Yeah.
We should get His Royal Doodliness to come on here and do a talk with us.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, he's obviously very knowledgeable in this topic. It would be very nice to have a third
new face.
Yeah. But we are almost 2 hours.
We're at 2 hours 50.
We're at
1 hour 58 minutes.
Yeah.
So an hour 44 basically.
Yeah. So we
can I'm gonna go because I got animals and they are demanding.
As we saw Sage go, yes. Screw off, kids, computer.
Right. Yeah, if y'all have a chance and y'all are looking for, I do work for Wisdom Seekers and I do have several readings on there that are a lot of fun. I like doing the fun readings. We got the spirit animal readings. They're a lot of fun. I do a general reading.
They're great gifts too. They're great Christmas gifts. If you're getting into a relationship, you need to get her compatibility report. Need to get it.
Yeah,
I bought one for my daughter.
It's a good reading. I enjoy doing them. I really like the lighter, funner readings. I will answer your more
complicated questions. She has a heavy-duty one coming up in January that she doesn't like.
See, I wasn't going to mention it.
I know that. But it's a monthly reading on what will happen in 2020, and it is a heavy-duty one. It costs a bit more, but hey, she has people coming back every month for a year saying, "Hey, you said this, and this is exactly what happened."
It's the whole year reading for your new year. It's one paragraph per month. It's 12 months, covers 12 months. That gives you the best probability outlook for that year. Some people find it very helpful. I find it very tiring, so I wasn't going to tell you all about it. But yeah, that is coming up. So
I know, and it's a favorite of people's.
It is a favorite.
You want it. Get your order in early.
Yeah.
Jennifer Swab, yes, I'm using it's either Korean salt or bamboo salt. I recommend it highly. Himalayan salt, like Jenna Preston was suggesting, is another one I use. I'm a little leery about using sea salt now, just simply because of all the crap that's in the ocean. Other than that, I would recommend it. But we had that Fukushima, which has basically covered all of the Pacific Ocean. There might be areas of the world where you can get salt that are where it's still clean. I don't know what they are.
Also, for those asking or suggesting that they're going to Google recipes for pop, there is a recipe book from Amazon for e-book. I think it's like $4 or $5 Canadian. American might be cheaper.
Usually is.
That tells you how to make kombucha. It tells you how to make kefir, both milk and water kefir. Tells you how to make
ginger
ale and other living drinks to help with food. I don't remember the titles off the top of my head, but they are out there.
I do have it on my phone.
Yes.
But I would have to go look for it.
We can add that later into the comments.
I'm not going to promise that because it's if we remember.
But if you do have questions about what was talked about, email us at info@wisdomseekers.net and someone will get back to you with an answer to your question.
Or direct you to somebody with an answer.
You to somebody
How much is that yearly reading, somebody asked?
I think we put it at 70.
Yeah.
American. Everything's on my website is American because all my readers are American and I have to pay them in American money.
And confirm or deny the price, but it's not up yet, so I don't know.
You didn't put it up?
Not yet.
Now
she tells me.
It's a really difficult reading. I'm not gonna lie. It takes a lot of time. I will spend probably 2-3 hours on one, and I get several requests for it. So,
and the truth is, it's cheap compared to what you're going to get at any other place.
Yeah, it's very,
because I can't talk Elizabeth into putting prices of what she deserves.
No, you can't. No, I still go by the old ways. I'm sorry, guys. I do.
Yeah.
Locally, if you bring me a bag of dog food, we'll have a talk. So, and
Elizabeth feeds her own dogs and other people's dogs, yes, so it spreads around.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and you're right, Mellow Yell. Lots of anything dry. Yeah, no kidding. We eat a lot of dried fruits in our house without the sulfur.
But, I am going to go because I do have that new wild kitten that I rescued. And
last night?
Yeah,
yes,
she's
beautiful. We finally caught him. we caught him.
She's a beautiful animal. She is a beautiful animal.
Yes. Finally, 4 days of just tromping through weeds and trees and get my hair. I got my hair tangled in a tree, y'all. And I'm like worried that I'm gonna have to call somebody 911 to come cut me out of the tree. And trying to catch this poor baby, who he cried for 24 hours, and I waited to see if the mother would come. Because I don't take kittens from their mothers, even wild kittens. We waited to see if the mother would come, and for 24 hours, this poor baby just cried and cried and cried. So I'm under the assumption that the mother is not returning. But it took us 4 days after that to catch it. So, but we did catch it. And it is currently in the big crate right now, in the big cage. It does need some domestication. I did check with Wildlife and Fisheries to make sure it was not a bobcat kitten. It's not, thankfully. It does resemble one slightly, but it's not. I don't know. Probably nobody on here is following that drama, but good news, we caught the kitten. The kitten is now being rehabilitated. and is in a warm, safe place.
And he looks intelligent.
Yeah, he looks very intelligent. He's a fighter. He didn't come willingly. Even in the live trap,
I hope
he
you
was.
wear heavy gloves when you talk to him.
I did, and then, it wasn't long. It was about 15 minutes, and he allowed me to pet him without the gloves. So I have
Really?
hope. Yes, I have hope. But yeah, he was a fighter. Even in the live, trying to get him out of the live cage, he crawled all the way to the back to it, and I'm like sticking my arm in and saying, "No, you got to come out," because those things are spring trapped. So when you open it, when they go to the back, it springs it back shut. So you're trying to hold it open and trying to get him out, and he's like, "No, I will never come."
If you want to follow Elizabeth's dramatic life, and she has a puppy post, and she has
Marshall Heck files
and things like that.
I did put her Facebook group.
It's Dreams and Visions.
Yeah, I put the link to it in the comments. So just click and follow.
And also we have a Facebook group called Elijah's Wisdom Seekers Group.
Link is in the description, as well as Instagram. I lied earlier when I said it wasn't.
Yeah. And also we have Wisdom Seekers Facebook, which is just a business page, but it has all this stuff on it.
Well, except for this one.
It will have it.
Yeah, check out my Facebook page. A lot of my writings about what goes on is up there, and it's a lot of fun.
She has a very devout following.
Yeah, and you'll find it's a little different than Wisdom Seekers, because that's where I do all my fun stuff. I do my work stuff on Wisdom Seekers, but I do my fun stuff on Dreams and Visions. A lot of my writing will be up there. She'll have
the spirit animal of the week and 3-day reading. What's happening for the 3 days?
Yeah, and then but mostly a lot of it's my I think we just published the Halloween story, which Elle was grateful enough to do the artwork for. You'll get a lot of just randomness, because I'm a very random person.
It's a really nice group, and they add a lot of their own stuff, little jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's a lot of writers on there too. So if you're a reader, if you like to read books, there's a lot of writers on there. Yeah, check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's a little different. I just don't want you to expect the same thing you get here for you to find there. You will find some of it, because I post a lot of stuff from Wisdom Seekers on there. It is a little different. I do a lot of my dream interpretation work on that page. So.
And Elizabeth does the absolute best dream interpretations.
Yeah. and like as you see, I'm gonna get off of here. I love y'all, and I'm just gonna kind of shut down. I really appreciated all your questions. Thank you. I hope I can do this again. I really appreciated it.
2 weeks. I love y'all. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
All right.
Different subject.
Bye.
And thank you, everybody. I would love to go through everything and read them off, but
mostly what we want to remind
we Puzzle of Life, we just go to Google.
Yeah. But mostly what we want to remind people is, aside from this Be Live, we are also trying to do live interactives on Instagram. So the link to the Wisdom Seeker Shifts Instagram is in a link down below. So if you don't have Facebook, but you want to keep following everything, we do post daily cards, animal of the week, today, tomorrow, and the next, etc. And we are now doing live Instagram videos.
We have done one.
It is a
It's
trial.
It wasn't hard, so we're going to do it again. I'm going to do before 5 o'clock. I will do a Wisdom Seeker, another weekly interactive. But with that, I'm going to say goodbye. It's been a blast. Always a blast with Elizabeth, and it was people here have wonderful ideas and knowledge, and I like to hear what you have to say. So with that, I'm going to say namaste, namaskar.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us.